I have 6:30. Um, I'm admitting people here as we go. All right, so meeting number 3, baseball's first. So what I was told was the KLA to show everyone the KLAA supplements, I guess. So for softball, if you work softball, the tiebreaker starts in the eighth inning. It continues until the end of time. So hopefully it won't take that long for everyone. For baseball, freshman and JV, tiebreaker starts in the eighth inning or the sixth inning, and we'll get into that in a second. And God forbid that it goes further. Okay, the freshmen are playing 7 innings and 5 innings if it's a doubleheader. So the first game's 7, second game is 5. So that's where this comes into for the international tiebreaker. Okay, so there's a Lakes Valley supplement too. That good thing Tony was here because I wouldn't have noticed. Oh, brother. I have not read this, so we're doing it all at the same time. JV doubleheaders are 7 innings and then 5 innings. So you're going to probably end up on darkness anyways, but whole game 1 of the doubleheader will end in a tie. All freshman games will be 5 inning doubleheaders. Again, probably going to be dark. The extra hitter, bet 10 players. Conference championships. I guess we don't have to worry about that. 10 after 5, 15 after 3. Okay, again, extra hitters for sub varsity only. And you can spin them through. So, does anybody have any questions on what we've gone through? And people have to
Still
I have
no
one
time limits, I
question for
take
you.
it.
Sorry.
rock and roll.
Last year we played 7 and 5 for freshmen and JV. What's changed? It made sound like it's a new rule, but that's what we did last year.
Okay, it sounded like the freshmen were 2 5 inning games now.
Okay, I had it at 7 and 5 last year.
This year, if you look,
The KLA was the one that had the change that was showing changes.
this is
The,
the
the
Lakes
Lakes
Valley. Yeah, this is
the
the Lakes
Lakes
Valley.
Valley was just showing you what their rules are.
Oh, okay. So it's not a change then.
Not necessarily. There could be changes in there, but
So here's your freshman baseball, 2 5 inning games.
And that's for Lakes.
This is Lakes, yes. JV is 7 and 5.
I've got a question about international rule, please.
Please.
My understanding is runner starts on second in each of the extra innings. Is that right?
Correct.
Thank
So
you.
the last completed at bat. So it's not the last out. It's the last completed at bat. Okay, so that's Lakes Valley baseball. And here's KLA baseball. If people in again. We're showing late. So here's KLA baseball. They're going to play 7 and 5 for the KLAA. And international tiebreaker starts in the first extra inning. Okay, Tony, is OAA somewhere?
Yeah, that was the other email that I just sent. It came from Chris Bell
one.
from Lake Orion.
This one? Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
There should be an attachment.
Wonderful attachments. I love attachments.
There it is on the far right.
Trying to get it down here.
Now that's that ATT one, Paul. That's not a. Those are just headers. You want the go back to the email. You see where it says OA softball? There you
This
go.
one?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Can you see it?
Not yet. It says it's downloading. I wouldn't spend too much time on it. But it's good to know that because some of these sub varsity guys will say, no, we're playing 7-7. And you're like, no, we're not.
Okay, can you see it yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so
It might not open up automatically. You might have to go up to the downloads
trying.
there.
I'm trying. Here, how about this one? How about now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so 10 after
It's
5,
softball,
15 after
so we don't want to
3.
go. I'll go through it in my meeting, Paul.
Okay, this is just softball. All right. So let's let's get on with it. So last week the request was to let's talk about a balk. So I went through and I tried to copy everything in. And I started to think about it, how dry this is, and I went, well, I will type all this in, and then I will. Can everybody see? Can you see the box stuff I'm trying to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So then I will paraphrase it at the bottom. The little thing won't go away, so I can't read this. This is wonderful. God, I love technology. All right, so I can't read the first line, so we're going to go from the windup or the set position. I'm going to go through this really fast. Hopefully everybody went to school and knows how to read. So the position of the feet determine whether he will pitch from the windup or set. He shall take a sign from the catcher with his pivot foot in contact with the pitcher's plate. The pitcher's regulations begin when he intentionally contacts the pitcher's plate. Turning the shoulders to check runners while in contact with the pitcher's plate in the set position is legal. Turning the shoulders after bringing the hands together during or after the stretch is a balk. He shall not make a quick return pitch in an attempt to catch a batter off balance. The catcher shall have both feet in the catcher's box at the time of the pitch. The pitcher is ambidextrous. The umpire shall require the pitcher to face the batter as either left-handed or right-handed, but not both. Okay, so I tried to paraphrase that. So, of course, I don't do this for a living, so if this is choppy, I apologize. If it doesn't make sense, I apologize. Stop me. Ask questions. All right. So here's the paraphrase. Feet determine whether it's the windup or the set position. So if his foot is parallel to the pitcher's plate, he's in the set position. If the foot is perpendicular to the pitcher's plate, he's in the windup. You have to take a sign from the catcher with his pivot foot in contact with the pitcher's plate. Doesn't have to be a sign, it just has to look like he's taking a sign. Restrictions begin when he intentionally contacts the pitcher's plate. So just because he walks across the pitcher's plate and touches it doesn't mean restrictions start. When you're in the set position, you can, before you bring your hands together, you can turn your shoulders to look at first base without having a problem. If you're in the windup position, you can't do this at all. So no shoulder turns in the wind-up position. Once you bring your hands together, you now cannot turn your shoulder to look at first base. Next thing is no quick pitches. So don't let anybody, if someone tries a quick pitch, kill that, award bases, and move on. Catcher must have both feet in the catcher's box. Okay, so I'm going to get into this in a second. If the pitcher is ambidextrous, he has to declare when the batter gets in the box. He's right-handed or he's left-handed to that batter. So about balks. Should have started off with this. The most important thing you want to be remembered for as an umpire is having a good strike zone and getting all the calls right on the bases when you're on bases. You don't want to be known for the guy that calls balks. So if you're the only one, this is my opinion, if you're the only one at the game that knows the kid balked, you might want to just have a conversation with the coach or the player at the next available opportunity to say, hey, he balked. Get the big ones. If everybody knows it's a balk, get that one. If you're the only one in the ballpark that saw it, I understand if someone's quoting a rule in verse, it might be time to, hey, you're quoting me rule in verse. You want rule in verse? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'm not telling you not to call it if you see it. I'm just telling you, remember there could be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. Get it when you have to. Don't get it just to get it. Okay, Article 2, I'm going to read quick too also, of course. From the windup position, the pitcher is not restricted to how he shall hold the ball. The pitcher assumes the windup position when his hands are together in front of his body. Both hands are at his side. Either hand is in front of his body and the other hand is at his side. The pitcher's non-pivot foot shall be any position on or behind a line extending through the front edge of the pitcher's plate. He is limited to not more than 2 pumps or rotations. That's for the wind-up position. After he starts his movement to pitch, he must continue the motion without interruption or alteration, which means you can't stop. With his feet in the wind-up position, the pitcher may only deliver a pitch or step backwards off the pitcher's plate with his pivot foot first. After the pitcher has placed his pivot foot clearly behind the plate, he has the right to change to the set position or throw or feint to a base, the same as that of any infielder. During delivery, he may lift his non-pivot foot in a step forward or step sideways, or a step backward and a step forward, but he shall not otherwise lift either foot. All right, so I tried to paraphrase this. Make sure the pitcher does not get on the rubber with his hand in his glove. Okay, this is one of them things that I would call a talk to if he's doing this. The umpires will probably be the only one that know this is a balk. So don't cut a hair. If it's a half a second or a quarter of a second, mention it to somebody. I wouldn't blast it if I didn't have to. You will the more balks you call, the more pitchers you're going to have because it will throw the kids completely off kilter. They won't know what they did or why they did it most of the time. So try and realize they're just kids. If someone's trying to get away with something, that's a whole nother thing. And it's baseball. You can tell when they're trying to get. Okay, so then the next one. The non-pivot foot cannot be completely in front of the rubber. I'm sorry. This should say the pivot foot cannot be completely in front of the rubber. Oops. All right. So don't allow the pitcher to have the pivot foot in front of the rubber for no reason. So not more than 2 pumps or rotations. So that's in the windup. You can You can't pump more than twice. Once he starts, he has to finish if he's in the windup. If he's in the set position, he can step backwards off. But that's only if he comes set. Whoever's not on mute, please go on mute. He can only step off with his pivot foot first. So again, this is where you're going to see stuff that kids are going to screw up on. So be careful. If he steps off, he can change to the set position or throw a feint to a base. So once he steps off and he whips it into the crowd, that's 2 bases. Remember, it's 1 base from the rubber, 2 bases from any place else. Also, his last step before delivery must be forward. I don't know how you do this, but I'm sure there's somebody out there. That's why it's in the rule book that was stepping a different direction when they were throwing home. Any questions so far? Okay, let's see if I can get down to the next page. Okay. If you're not on mute, Courtney, that's you. Please go on mute. Thank you. Okay, the next one, I'm going to blast through this too. For the set position, the pitcher shall have the ball in either his glove hand or his pitching hand. His pitching hand shall be down at his side or behind his back. Before starting his delivery, he shall stand with his entire non-pivot foot in front of a line extending through the front edge of the pitcher's plate and with his pivot foot in contact with or directly in front of and parallel to the pitcher's plate. He shall go to the set position without interruption and in one continuous motion. He shall come to a complete and discernible stop. Change of direction is not considered an acceptable stop. With the ball in both hands in front of his body and his glove at or below his chin. Natural preliminary motions such as one stretch may be made. During these preliminary motions and during the set position until a delivery motion occurs, the pitcher may turn on his pivot foot or lift it to jump, turn, or step with the non-pivot foot toward a base while throwing or feinting as outlined 624 to 228.5. Or he may lift his pivot foot and step backward off the pitcher's plate, which must be in or partially within a 24-inch length of the pitcher's plate. In order to change to the windup position, he must first step clearly backwards off the pitcher's plate with his pivot foot first. After the pitcher has placed his pivot foot on the ground clearly behind the plate, he then has a right to throw or feint to a base the same as that of any other infielder. Okay, so that gobbledygook comes out to be, don't let him get on the rubber with his hand in the glove. If he does, that's to talk to. Make sure you talk to him about it. Don't cut a hair. Don't poke the bear. All my fun phrases here. The pivot foot must be parallel to the pitcher's plate. Non-pivot foot in front of the pivot foot. Okay, so he does one continuous motion to set. So when he brings his hands together, it's continuous. Comes to a complete and discernible stop. Ball, glove, and hand together and below his chin. Again, don't cut hairs. Make sure he's not trying to get away with anything. It's the stretch position, so you can only stretch once. Throwing to a base. He can lift or jump step in a continuous motion. Must step toward the base. So he's got to get a little bit of ground when he does throw to a base. Feinting to second, he can only feint to second and third. So he cannot fake a throw to first if he's on the and he starts his motion on the rubber. If he starts his throw to first when he's on the rubber, he cannot fake it. And then if he steps off, he can change to the windup position or throw or feint to any base. And he has to step off with his pivot foot. Okay, so nobody's on. It's an illegal pitch. And a ball is awarded to the batter. If there is a runner, they act as a balk and the umpire signals dead ball. Remember, you cannot hit a home run off a balk. You cannot hit a ball up the gap and score everybody and end the game. All right. Questions yet? Okay, Article 4. Each legal pitch shall be declared by the umpire a strike, ball, fair, or foul hit, or a dead ball. A pitch drop during delivery and which crosses the foul line shall be called a ball. Otherwise, it will be called no pitch. A pitch drop during delivery with at least one runner on base would be a balk if it does not cross the foul line. Okay, so paraphrased, if the pitch does not cross the foul line, is a balk, such as dropping. Otherwise, no pitch. Article 5. When a pitcher is attempting to field a batted or thrown ball or is throwing to a base with his pivot foot clearly off the plate, his status is that of an infielder, except that if a batted ball passes but does not touch him and then strikes an umpire or a runner, the ball may become dead because of interference. Okay, so after he throws it, the pitcher becomes an infielder. I don't know how he could get hit if he's in the windup or set position, but that's in the rule book. So if you're behind the pitcher and someone can field it and the infielders are not in and it hits you, kill it, award the batter runner first base and give everybody one base. If it hits a runner moving between a base, kill it, call that runner out if the fielders are behind him and can field it and have any kind of attempt at fielding it. No one can score. Award the batter runner first base. Everybody moves up if they're forced. Remember, it's forced. You have to be forced to move up. All right. So more chalk talk. Balk. If there's a runner or runners, any of the following acts by a pitcher while he's touching the pitcher's plate is a balk. Any feinting toward the batter or first base or any dropping of the ball, even though accidental, and the ball does not cross the foul line. Failing to step with a non-pivot foot directly toward a base, occupied or unoccupied, when throwing or feinting, they're in an attempt to put out or drive back a runner, or throwing or feinting to an unoccupied base, known as not an attempt to put out or drive back a runner. So no faking the first. You can fake the second and third, but if you fake, you need to come off the rubber. That's all that's saying. So we went over an illegal pitch above. So an illegal pitch with runners on is a balk. D, failing to pitch to a batter in a continuous motion immediately after any movement or any part of a body, such as he habitually uses in his delivery. So he can't stop. That's all it's saying is he can't stop. Okay, so now the do-over. If a pitcher with a runner on base stops or hesitates his delivery because the batter steps out of the box with one foot or with both feet, holds up his hand to request time, it shall not be a balk. If A and C, there is no penalty on either the batter or the pitcher. The umpire shall call time and begin play anew, which is the do-over. In B, if both feet are completely out of the box, which means not on the white line, right? A strike shall be called on the batter for the violation. In A, B, and C, if the pitcher legally delivers the ball, it should be called a strike and the ball remains alive. So, again, you can call 2 strikes on the batter, God forbid, but I know it happens. It's happened before. It'll happen again. And if the umpire judges it to be delivered to either hurt the pitcher or create a balk, you can eject. Again, don't let anybody get away with anything, but I wouldn't poke the bear unless it's a total catastrophe out there. I wouldn't eject anyone. But yes, there can be a do-over if the batter's just trying to get time. Remember, if the batter requests time, the umpire gives time. If we don't give time, that's the way it goes. And if the batter's asking for time, don't say anything because it'll be misconstrued as, well, he called time. I thought he said time. Just be quiet and get in your crouch. Okay. Next, taking a hand off the ball while in the set position. Unless he pitches to a batter or throws to a base, or he steps towards or feints a throw to second or third, is a balk. Hopefully, you won't see this. This would be a catastrophe if it does happen. So, but make sure he comes off the rubber if he's going to fake the second or third. Letter F, failing to pitch to the batter when the entire non-pivot foot passes behind the perpendicular plane of the back edge of the pitcher's plate, except when feinting or throwing to second in an attempt to put out a runner. So all that's saying is if the non-pivot foot comes and clearly breaks the back edge of the back part of the pitcher's plate, he has to throw it to home. Not too many players do that, but again, you'll be the only one that'll see it. Don't cut hairs. Okay, situations. Hopefully it'll get less dry now. No runners on base. The pitcher places the pitching hand on the mouth and distinctly wipes off the pitching hand prior to touching the ball. A, while not touching the pitcher's plate. B, while touching the pitcher's plate. Okay, so he's off the pitcher's plate. He can basically do that. And just as long as he attempts to wipe it off, it's legal. That's A. If he's on the plate, it's illegal. Load up a ball on the batter, block the pitcher if there's a runner on. Hopefully, you won't have that. Again, stuff you want to try and hopefully you're the only one that sees it. Otherwise, you'll hear about it. And if I cannot do that, okay. So situation D. With a runner on second, the pitcher is not on the pitcher's plate. F1 goes to the mouth and goes directly to the ball with the pitching hand. AF1 calls time and requests a new ball. BF1 legally engages the pitcher's plate. Okay, so since he's getting a new ball, it's legal. And B, call time and add a ball to the batter. All right, so I don't know, it's Michigan and everything's wet. It's wet all day and all night around here. Anytime if the ball doesn't come back wet, I don't know what it is. So, use common sense on this one. If you see him do it, tell the catcher to go out there and tell him not to do that. Give him another ball, switch the balls. Okay. Did it again. Let me see if there's people in the waiting room. I didn't even think about it. God, I hate this. Okay. Trying to get to the waiting room. I'm sorry. I don't know where it is.
Paul, can I ask a question while you're doing that?
Certainly. Please stop.
All right. And this is a question really for the general membership. So there are times in which, as the pitcher's warming up and I see this hybrid pitching form from the set motion is when I usually try to go out and correct it. And so when I do that, I try to, use terminology that helps the kid understand. Like, for example, if his back foot is lined up against the rubber parallel to it, and he's taking that step to the side, that two-step, and then pitching the ball, I'm telling him that's a hybrid. But sometimes I just feel uneasy about giving instruction to pitchers and even coaches about how to correct it. So I was wondering what some of the other guys do when they have that situation.
Oh, here's all you can do is say, hey, I need him to be a little bit more upright. I need him to be more perpendicular. If
I'd
the
leave the word hybrid out of any discussion too. That's no longer applicable.
What do you mean, Mike?
Well, when you started out reading the pitching rules, if the pivot foot is parallel to the plate, you're in set.
Yes. Good point. So
Any
yes.
any other position of the foot, you're in windup. The pivot foot.
Right, and I get that. I mean, the rules are very clear about the set versus the windup. But when you're trying to identify what the kid is doing wrong, I use it as more or less an instruction term because that's kind of how I understand it. And so, yeah, I say the hybrid is no longer allowed, and that's what makes what your kid is doing a balk. So what he does need to do to clean that up is when he's in the set position, look in, get his sign, bring his foot. He can come set, but once he comes set, he can do one or three things: pitch, throw to a base, or disengage. Anything else besides that is a balk if he's in the set position.
Okay. Agreed. But all you can do is tell the coach, hey, I can't tell which one he's in. Can you get him to be either he needs to be more perpendicular to the rubber so I know he's in the windup, or he needs to be more parallel to the rubber so I know he's in the set. And then do the best you can. Try and get him to um, if you got to go out there and show him, sometimes you got to go out there and show him. I know it's not a great thing, but if you got to, you got to. Does that help? Otherwise, it makes for
Yeah,
a long
yeah.
day.
Without stepping on any coaching toes, yes. I mean, I'll ask coach if I can demonstrate before I demonstrate, but yeah, that does help. Thanks.
Okay, I just do the best you can. Some days you're going to win, and some days you're not going to win. It just doesn't. No matter what you do, you're not winning. Okay, so situation B here. Next one. With R1 on first, the pitcher attempts a pickoff while stepping at an angle, but to the home plate side. So he has to step directly to a base. So to comply with the requirement to step directly toward, the pitcher must step to the first base side of the 45-degree angle between the center of the pitcher's plate and between home and first base. So again, don't bring out something that does 45 degrees. Just make sure getting some distance when he's stepping toward base, and it's not more toward home plate. Okay, situation C. We have a runner at third and a runner at first, and the pitcher comes set. F1 then feints toward third or makes an arm motion towards third, but does not step toward third. F1 follows up with a throw to first. Okay, let's see if I can bring this up a little bit. So this is a balk. The pitcher must step toward third base when feinting there. He can never feint to first while on the rubber. He can step and feint to third and not throw to first only, but he has to disengage the rubber. Okay, next one, situation I. With a runner on third, the pitcher starts his pitching motion, and the batter requests time. The umpire does not grant time. B, 2 steps completely out of the batter's box with both feet. A, the pitcher delivers the pitch. B, does not deliver the pitch or throws a wild pitch. Okay, so we kind of went over this with the do-over stuff. So remember, he's got to be completely out of the box. So he can't be touching any of the white lines. The umpire shall call 2 strikes on B2 in the first case because he got completely out of the box. One for the pitch, one for stepping out of the box. In B, the umpire shall call a strike for stepping out of the batter's box. The balk is nullified. So does not deliver the pitch. Okay. In C, 2 strikes shall be called on B2, one on the pitch and one for stepping completely out. The batter can run and the ball remains live. I don't like the way that one's written, but that came out the case book. So, okay, Jay, R1 on. So we got a runner at first. The pitcher attempts to pick off the runner. As F1 pivots to throw, the pitcher realizes that F3 is not on the base, which is the first baseman, but in his normal defensive position. The pitcher completes the throw without interruption. So this is the proximity rule and why we get paid the big bucks. As long as the first baseman is in the proximity of the base, F1 would not be guilty of a balk. Proximity is umpire judgment and is based on whether the fielder is close enough to the base to legitimately make a play on the runner. So if the first baseman's out in right field, I'd balk it. If he's running in, it's your judgment. Okay, that's the end of the balk stuff. I know I went fast. I know there's a lot to it. Again, don't make the balk your primary call in a game. The strike zone, if you're behind the plate, the strike zone's the most important thing. If you're on the bases, getting all the calls right on the bases is the most important thing. On plays on the base. Get the pitcher if he's trying to do something wrong, if he's intentionally trying to do something wrong, if he gains an advantage, then get him. Otherwise, I do a lot of talking. And I do that now. So that's this umpire's opinion. So I don't know how everybody else feels, but does anybody else have any comments? Okay, we got about 20 minutes to go. I put together some case plays. I can't remember how many I did, but okay, Adams is the catcher for the home team and is the lead off the bottom of the third. Smith pinch hits for Adams and hits a leadoff single. The home team head coach legally re-enters Adams into the game and requests time to have the courtesy runner for Adams. The opposing coach argues this is not legal. So you can only have a courtesy runner for the catcher of record or the pitcher of record, right? Since Smith pinch hit, then they subbed Adams back in the game. Now you can sub with a courtesy runner. So this is legal. Smith was not the catcher of record the last half inning. The home team was on defense, and as a result, a courtesy runner cannot run for him. But the coach may choose to re-enter Adams, the catcher of record, and have a courtesy runner for him. Okay, number 2. With a runner at second base, a grounded ball deflects off the pitcher's ankle. The ball deflects toward the third baseman as he moves into the field the ball, and he is run over by R2. Both R2 and the batter runner are safe. Do we have interference or obstruction? Okay, so since we have a fielder making a play on a ball, this is interference, and a runner from second will be declared out. Third baseman must be given the opportunity to field this batted ball on his initial attempt. The batter runner will be awarded first unless it is judged the interference prevented the defense from making a double play. So if you're going to call a double play, make sure everybody in the place would say, yep, he ran him over, so he couldn't get tagged, and the guy thrown out at first. But it's there for you if you need it. Okay, next one. A runner is caught in a rundown between home and third. Third baseman is chasing the runner back to third and has clear possession of the ball when he reaches out and tags the runner. After the tag, the fielder tumbles over himself and within a few steps falls to the ground, causing the ball to come out of his glove. Okay, what's the ruling? Runner is safe. The fielder must contain control of the ball from the tag through any subsequent activity. Falling down and or dropping the ball results in no tag of the runner. So it has to be a voluntary release of the ball from the glove or from his hand if he tags him with the ball in his hand. So don't get it confused with football. You can't have it long enough. Long enough is not long enough. He has to show possession and a voluntary release of the ball. Same goes for fly balls or pop-ups. So if he's taking out of his glove, that's one thing. If he's not, if it's a voluntary release, if it's not a voluntary release, he's got to show possession. Again, stop me if you have any questions. Here's number 4. With a runner on first, the batter hits a base hit to the right field fence. The runner on first goes all the way to third, and as he steps on the base, it dislodges and slides into foul territory. The runner takes several steps toward home, slips and heads back to third where he touches the ground or where the base would have been as the third baseman applies a tag on him. Okay, number 1, God forbid this happens, but it's possible. That's why it's here. The part of the ground where the base was located shall serve as the base. It will be the umpire's judgment as to whether the runner reaches the place where the base was located before being tagged. So what's happened to me in the past is the base comes off and it ends up in the coaching box. That runner scores, and there's a play on the runner coming to third. And then he slides in, and it of course gets past the third baseman, and he comes home, and they all want, well, he didn't touch the base. So yeah, I hope that doesn't happen to you, but it happened to me. Use your best judgment. Okay, last one, I guess. Game tied in the bottom of the 7th inning. The home team has runners on first and second. During a timeout, R1, the runner at first and the runner at second switch places to put the fastest runner on second so that the team has a better chance to score from second base. Ball is made live, and the defensive coach notices the change and tells the plate umpire. Okay. The umpire shall call both runners out, one for passing a runner and another out for running the bases in reverse order. And I would eject both players for. So what I do is when the coaches get together and the guy from second runs by me as I'm headed out toward the outfield, I say, oh, number 4 is at second. So they can't do that. Oh, I mean, they can do this, but so I'll catch it before. And then when we break up, I make sure number 4 is at second base, or whoever the runner is at second. I make sure that guy's there. So a warning is given to the coach unless the umpire knows without a doubt the coach was involved, in which case, eject the coach too. If the switch was detected before the ball was made live, the infraction would be corrected with only a warning given to the team. So if you can and you do have time and you can see who was on second, maybe who was on third, so they can't do this. Pick it up.
What was on second, Paul?
whoever the runner was. So if you can see number 4 was on second and number,
That was
22 was on third, just
That
make
was-
a mental note is what I'm getting at.
that was a joke, Paul.
Who was on first?
Ah, sorry. I've been reading for 45 minutes, so I'm a little intense. Okay, that's all I have for tonight. Has anybody had a game where something happened that they need to talk to? Is there anything that's in somebody's head that they need to ask a question about? Now is the time.
I just thought of something, Paul.
Go ahead, Tony.
If you've got a designated hitter hitting for the third baseman, later in the game, the third baseman comes to bat, so that now the DH is gone. Can the DH re-enter the lineup in the same place as the third baseman?
Okay, the answer to that is yes. So
Because
all
everybody-
starters, all
All
starters can,
starters can re-enter. That's how I adjudicate it, but I wasn't 100%.
yeah, all starters can re-enter. So it would just,
But the DH is gone. He's not re-entering as a DH.
And they have to bat in the same spot in the
yeah,
batting
same
order.
spot.
Correct.
Same spot, correct. Right.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Paul.
And they had a kid, he was just all over the place. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. Wonderful. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I apologize if I go away.
A question, please, Paul?
So anyways, I was on the bases and the kid was all over the place. And we had a couple runners on and he gets on the rubber in the windup and then he flips to the set position. And yes, it's a balk, but he was just the coaches were all over him about his mechanics and everything, and I felt sorry for the kid. I didn't bang it, I probably should have, but I didn't. He walks the next kid anyways, and then they come out and yank him. So yeah, I know there's a lot of thought going into, should we get this, should we not? I just it wasn't I just passed on it.
Bob Kelly has a question.
Go ahead, Bob.
Thanks, guys. For the plate umpire, a drop third strike. What is the mechanic for the plate umpire? Does he signal safe? Just to show everyone that he does not have a clean caught ball by the catcher?
Okay. Yes.
It's no catch, no catch.
So yes, whatever you have to do to let everybody know that the batter's not out. I point at the ground. You can do a safe sign. I'm not big on the safe signs just because was that a foul ball? Did he foul tip it and he didn't catch it? So I'm big at pointing. Have to do. I don't know. What do you do now?
Personally, I do the safe signal, but I was told recently that was incorrect. That's why I wanted to hear what my colleagues say.
So yeah, it's. I'm a pointer at the ground, and I'm moving. I'm out in front of the plate as this is all going on. And God forbid the guy from third doesn't run me over, but I'm pointing at the ground. So everybody knows, hey,
What are you supposed to do? You can't strip him down and put his earpiece in. That's gross.
yeah,
I mean, just do the best you can.
yes, I don't, yes. Don't just, I'm sure it'll be obvious if someone's trying to get away with something. I can't imagine it not being obvious.
Yeah, thank you. It seems like it's speeding it up a little bit, but then
there has been a lot more, let me get time out and talk to them and, to try and get things organized or whatever.
Yes.
So I just wondered what everybody's thoughts were.
We had a catcher switch in the middle of an inning, and that took forever because of the earpiece situation. They had to strap it on and do all that stuff. But
Oh,
other
really?
than that, it's a great invention.
Yeah, I think it's great too. Okay, anybody else? Everybody's good with what they need to do in order to be eligible for the playoffs, right? So if you have any questions and you need to talk to me, if I don't recognize your number or you're not in my phone book, please leave a message. I don't answer. I get a million calls a day. It feels like at least a million calls a day. Someone trying to sell me something. So just leave a message. You'll be the only one that'll leave a message, and I will call you
You
back.
sound like Bob Jack.
And I will call you back. Oh God, hey, I don't swear at you.
That's enough, man. Did a fine job, Paul. Fine job.
Okay,
See you
so
tomorrow.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to the softball guys. I guess 7:45 for Tony. I got 7:24 right now, so I will stop sharing and go on mute.
Thank you, Paul.
It's not the same meeting, is it?
I don't know.
They're two different meeting IDs.
Two
So
different
just-
meetings.
I think you just end the meeting.
Okay, I've been letting people in, so I was guessing they were softball people since they just got here.
No, they're no.
Okay,
So,
all right. I will.
hey, if anybody who is on here, if you're looking for the softball meeting, check the link. There's two different links that Shane sent. Okay, so right here, if you're in here, this is the baseball meeting. So we'll see at 7:45 for the softball meeting, and check that link on the email that you guys got. Okay.
So 20 minutes from now,
Thank you.
we'll do that. Bye, everybody.
Have a good
good
evening.
season.
Take care.
Enjoy.